My name is Larry Jagours, and I've been serving on the board. This is my second year of a 4-year term. I was born and raised in McKinney, Texas. And actually my birthplace began at where Glenn Mitchell Park is right now. There used to be Glenn Mitchell Clinic. That's where I was born. My elementary school was at Doty, E.S. Doty Elementary in East McKinney, Throckmorton Street. I was delayed a year from entering elementary school for the simple fact my birthday came one day late in September. The cutoff was September 1 and my birthday was September 2nd. So I didn't begin elementary school until I was 7 years old. My dad tutored me or mentored me in education that entire year, so I didn't have any lapse time. And when I went in with the other first graders that year, I was way ahead I was 1 year ahead of the class, and I completed basically all the first grade material in about a month and a half. And then I guess you say it was skipped, or I was advanced to the grade where I would have originally been, stayed there until my 5th grade year. And I was excelling. It's sort of sound like I'm a nerd, but I'm not. I could have been advanced from the 5th grade to the 6th grade, and my dad said no. So I stayed. I was pretty upset for a while, but then I'm glad I stayed where I was, because if I'd gotten out of school, he said, what am I going to do getting out of school at age 16? I graduated at the age of 17 from McKinney High School. We integrated McKinney High School in '64. I was a sophomore, and there was 9 of us that integrated, and I was sort of, I don't know the word you'd use, but I was sort of put on the spot, cast down from the coaching staff when I didn't want to go off playing football my first year at McKinney High, because my main incentive was not to get involved in any sport. I didn't go there for sports, and I made it clear that I came out there to get education, not primarily in education, but just so I could put my name in a textbook. Because where I had gone to school at Doty, all the books that we received were 20, 30 years old at least, out of adoption, and all of them were, there was no place to put your name in a textbook, even though you're going to be responsible for it. So I was sort of sick and tired of being responsible for a book that was just worn out. And I just felt the need that I was going to do something, but I didn't know what. And I don't know why or what the motive was or whatever. Something just told me to go to McKinney High. Wasn't even knowledgeable in regard to the news like it is now of what was happening during that era of integration and civil rights and all those things. But I went, and there was a total of 9 of us, and after the 9 went, other students from Doty tried to go, and that 9 was the cutoff for some unknown reason. I guess 9, I don't know if it has to do with the number 9, like the Supreme Court, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But 9 was a number, and I didn't. I want to just focus on the academics, being transitioning from an all-black school to an all-white school. I want to just see how I would do. I didn't have any fear of me being able to excel, but I just wanted to see how I would adjust mentally before even tackling anything like that. After high school, I had an opportunity to go to the University of Minnesota, and didn't go. I didn't go on football. I didn't go for the simple fact that I didn't like cold weather. And I knew years ago, the Minnesota Vikings used to be one of my favorite teams. And I would see those guys up there playing in the ice and the snow, and I said, that would be good, but being from Texas and the sunshine and all those different types of things, and even if it got cold here, it didn't get as cold as it did they're minus degrees. So I just went into the workplace. Was fortunate enough, after several years of working in the Dallas area, I was offered a job in Austin to transfer to Austin, Texas. I worked for Chrysler Corporation, and they transferred myself and my family there. I was in parts distribution, where I delivered automotive parts to dealers throughout the Austin, San Antonio area, and then expanded down to the valley down as far as Brownsville, Texas. Did that for numerous years. Got into real estate during the time that Chrysler started bankruptcy. Went into bankruptcy and did real estate until the S&L scandal in the mid to late 80s. Came back, moved back to the McKinney area, and had no idea, but it was a blessing that my dad told me. He says, "Why don't you get off into education?" And which education wasn't on my mind, but I look back at it now, and it was a blessing. And from that point on, I was in education up until I retired in 2017. Did 29 years in education, all of it being in special ed. You know, as I told you about Chrysler Corporation, I told you about real estate, all of those jobs in itself, they were monetarily rewarding, but the most enjoyable, and I'm not saying it just because I'm doing what I'm doing, the most enjoyable to me is education, for the simple reason I'm able to give back something. I'm able to give back something, and dealing with the special needs population, it makes me stop and see how blessed I am to be who I am when I see the disabilities and various handicaps students have that really try, and which gave me one of the main reasons for putting back, giving what I could. I was Special Olympics coach. We won state championship consecutively 2 years back to back at a time when the special needs population students would advance to state for state championship, just sort of like they do UIL today. So I took 2 teams from McKinney Independent School District to the state championship in Austin, Texas. We won several gold medals, and that sort of propelled me more to just get more involved in SPED, and that's just what I did until I retired. My family and my wife, we've been married 55 years, and it was 55 years, November the 3rd. In case my wife sees this, I have to give the exact date. November the 3rd, we were married 55 years. We have 3 children. All of our children are grown. I have a son. I have twin daughters. I have one grandson who's in college, majoring in music. That he'll graduate in 24. That's the only grandchild we have. My daughters, I have one daughter that's a writer. I have another daughter that's a photographer. And my son, he's self-employed. And we're all everybody does their own thing for the most part. We do get together during holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, things like that, birthdays. And my wife and I, during our spare time and whatever time we have, we travel. We travel quite a bit. We found out where cruises is our sort of just getaway and relaxation time. So we do at least one cruise a year. Being a McKinney product, born and raised here, going to school here, knowing the community, knowing the environment, knowing the town, knowing the people, all people regardless of ethnicity, it's good to give back. And to me, it's sort of like a ministry. It's a ministry in regard for reaching the youth, reaching the teachers, reaching the staff, reaching the entire, all components of the district as a whole, and just giving back, just showing support to everyone that makes up the school district the same way the school supported me and others that came when I came up. For the simple fact, when right at the beginning of integration, those 9 that entered McKinney High, which is Fabian now, we got total support. It dealt with those issues, and I look at how it's dealing with issues now, and I'm just glad to be a part to show the positivity and the integrity that's exhibited in a midst of chaotic times. My desire is for McKinney Independent School District to be the epitome of every school district in the state of Texas. That being the fact that when they say McKinney Independent School District, McKinney Independent School District is one that will be considered like a 5-star rating statewide. The progressiveness and the innovation that I know that exists, McKinney Independent School District can and will be the #1 school district that will attract not only families but companies here. And that way we will reach the goal of what my dream is for academic, artistic, and athletic excellence district-wide. Being a member of the board, I'm blessed to go to any campus in the school where, when I was an employee, I was not restricted, but I was focused basically in 1 or 2 areas. Within the special ed area of high school and the athletic field where we did athletics. And I go to all the schools to let the staff and the teachers and everyone know I'm here to support you. I'm here to show, hey, you have a board member here that cares about you. You have a board member here that you can bounce stuff on and off. You can vent. You can vent to me. I have empathy for the people that do what they do, because guess what? I've been where they are. So to me, that's a good thing. And some people are leery because they don't quite know if I'm shooting straight with them. But for anyone that sees this, I want them to know that I'm bought in, sold out 199.9% for the entire district. I want to share something else with you too that's been a highlight in my life in regard to working for the district and how special needs is to me. Several years ago, when I was at Jagours Middle School, we had a special needs student there that had the desire to play football. And everyone was skeptical of this individual journeying that route. And no one wanted that challenge to deal with this student. And something told me, he says, hey, do it. So I did it. I took this student, an 8th grader, I don't even know if he'd ever thrown a football. I had to be with him early in the morning, beginning at 5:30 in the morning, through the school day, in the evening for football practice. We went in 8th grade. We did the 8th grade football at Jagours. He became successful. He went to McKinney Boyd. He wanted to play football at McKinney Boyd. Coach Drake told me, he says, I've heard about this young man. I've heard about what you've done with him. He says, I want you to coach. I want you to coach him, and he's going to be a part of this team. he made me a part of the coaching staff at Boyd. And I worked with this young man. This young man became very successful. He was 6'6", 340 pounds. He was the life of Boyd's JV and varsity football squads. That's one of the most rewarding things about this education journey, and which made me be very passionate about the fact and the goal that every child, every student can achieve, every student can succeed. And McKinney ISD can offer that to any student that has the desire to want to achieve their dream. That's why I like what I do.